Okay, please tell me that this music is loud enough. So, before we get on, I just needed to mention that I have been trying to add music. This is my second episode for My Hero Academia that has music, and I'm sorry I didn't post yesterday. I was too busy hanging out with my bestie, and yeah. But anyways, I hope you guys enjoy. You slid easily down the cold, wet wall of stone, using the water to your advantage as you landed, forcing it up to your feet to catch you before running into the village. Your hood was pulled over your head to hide yourself of looking like royalty. Not a hood could help hide your good looks or anything. Your boots trudged through the mud, pants clinging to your legs in the rain. You wore a white long-sleeved shirt with green corset vest. The royal crest on its necktie of your hood was ripped off and thrown into the mud. You weren't going to lie. You had daddy issues, family issues, since your mother or siblings weren't supportive either. Your father wanted you to marry off to the nearest dweeb of the next royal family so you could produce an heir. He could become 10 times richer, and the immature boy of the prince would get laid. The nearest dweeb was a short pervert that went by the name Mineta Minoru. He wasn't even half your weight. He was shorter, which nothing wrong about it, but still. The mightiest had nothing for you. His quirk was kinda useless, and he just wouldn't shut up about anything. You couldn't stand to marry him, so you ran away, depending on the money you had stolen from the royal treasury, your quirk, and the skills you had possessed through training over the years. You stumbled on through the night. You would have taken your horse, but waking the guards just to get to the royal stable was too much of a risk. You were better content with walking, humming a soft lullaby that your mother had sung to you when you were just a child. You shoved the hood back as soon as you were out of the village. Feeling the cold wetness on your face gave you a little bit of comfort as you absorbed it through your skin and sighed. Your fingers ran through your hair-colored damp locks, causing yourself not leaving a bit sooner to pull up your hood again and trudge on. The smell of smoke wafted your way. You went through the trees, off the path, and avoided any travelers that may or may not notice you. Explosions could have been heard in the distance, along with loud grunting noises. Some distant words filled your ears and made your heart race a bit faster in your chest. "Kirishima, get your ass back here!" a male voice bellowed. You took a stance and looked around, unable to pinpoint the direction in which it came from. You turned and gazed as a flash of red slammed into you, and an amazing out of force of speed. You stumbled to the ground and rolled along with a body that had captured your breath and forced it out of your lungs. You coughed and flopped over to choke out as soon as the weight left you. You put your hands on the wet ground and hacked, nearly throwing up. "Whoa, sorry, you okay?" a voice said. Stunned with concern, a hand was placed on your back, and you replied from the touch as you had been burned. "Stay away," you warned him before coughing again, tears steaming down as you stuck in a breath and tried to calm yourself. "Kirishima, what the fuck did you do?" another man asked, stepping out into the open. Smoke poofed from his hands as your gaze landed on him. His blonde hair was poofy and stuck out in all directions, but a few droplets of rain bounced off of it. His gaze was crimson, angry, and all out annoyed. You looked at the other man, also red eyes, teeth sharp like a wolf, ruby red hair that also stuck out in all directions. I didn't do anything," the one called Kirishima answered back harshly. looking at the compassion with daggers in his gaze. The blonde rolled his eyes and scoffed before kneeling next to him and reaching out to touch you. You flinched back again and sneered at him. Don't, you growled. He pulled back and looked at Kirishima before back at you. Fine, be a fucking bitch. I was trying to help. He yelled in annoyance, clicking his tongue before standing. Let's go, shitty hair. The blonde muttered, pushing the redhead shoulder and making him fall on his hip.
Break new berries.
Damn. Oopsie, sorry. We can't just leave her, the redhead yelled back at the blonde. She clearly just got winded out of it. And she's a lady. It won't be manly for us to leave her. You snorted. I'm fine, you interject. You pushed yourself to your feet, standing up against the tree, coughing a few more times before standing upright. You fell over, which the redhead was quick to catch you. I would like to disagree, he said, with a calming smile. You looked down and nodded in his agreement. You watched as a smile as he helped you towards the woods. The blonde clicked his tongue and followed along, with a few feet behind. You looked up when he stopped and saw a small campsite, fire burning in the dim embers, and two tents set up on opposite sides of each other. Kirishima set you down gently in the leaves, and the blonde set his palm over the embers and set off an explosion from his palms, making you jolt. He smirked and set back a few feet away from you. I'm Bakugou, by the way. That idiot that ran into you is Kirishima, he said. You nodded and looked away. You felt quiet. If you had told them your real name, they would find out. Fake name. I'm Finn. Interesting name, Kirishima said after he came back out. If you had assumed his tenant. Eijiro, the blonde. Eijiro, that blonde is Katsuki. The redhead corrected. They don't give that shit don't get that shit away for brains. Bakugou threw a stick at him. The left side of his face hardened and stick bounced off of him. You raised his brow suspiciously and looked at the two. They had quite the charismatic. My quirk is hardening. I can harden any part of my body like it's a rock. Kirishima gestured to himself with his hand. He can make explosions come out of his hands. Not that impressive, but it's gotten us out of jams before. Bakugou clicked his tongue distastefully, and his ears burned. You smiled at the pair of them. Well, I don't think I have much of a useful quirk. I can control and manipulate water, you said. I can absorb it through my skin and store it up for later. You finished? Kirishima seemed entranced by you, while Bakugou could only look at you with red, incredulating eyes curiously. You blushed at the stairs and looked away. Well, what brings you out of this neck of the woods, then? Bakugou asked, tilting his head slightly, making his blonde hair bounce with fluffy ease. Yeah, traveling from village near here. Oh, yeah. Kirishima joined in. Oh, well, you looked up at the sky. It was nearly noon. You had sat with them all morning, just joking, talking. I'm actually on the run, you said, though you thought of it as more of a question. Whoa, are you like a villain? Life of crime? Both asked, eyes narrowing and leaning forward. What? No! That's the last thing I would ever want to do. And be, you said, assuring them. They relaxed again. I ran away from home, you finished. They snapped their heads to you as you looked down. Twisting your hands nervously, you sighed. How come? Kirishima asked. Bakugou looked up expectantly, listening and waiting for you to respond. My father wanted to marry me off. He was awful and horrible and abusive. My mother wasn't supportive at all, and My brothers aren't protective, so I left. You explained simply, looking away and down at the leaves. You felt a hand on your own. I'm sorry that happened, but you're free to stay with us, Kirishima started. You laced your fingers through his and gave his hand a gentle squeeze in thanks. I would like that a lot, Eijiro, you said softly. Bakugou cleared his throat and captured your attention. Prepare to walk then, short slack. We move around a lot, but hey, it might be good to have another one on our side, he said, getting up. He glared daggers into Kirishima, who just smirked dreamily as you got up and stretched. There isn't a moment to lose then, huh, Katsuki? You asked with a playful smile. You began to walk, and Kirishima and Bakugou watched, your hips sway as you led the way. Dude, I think I'm in love, the redhead beamed to his friend. Be prepared to share then, shitty hair, Bakugou snorted, and both men followed right after you.